japo tuna tofauti,
kila moja wetu ana sauti. Tuinuane,
ushirikiano wetu,
tuinuane,
na ukaribu wetu, tuinuane, tuinuane, tuko pamoja maishani, tuinuane, ushirikiano wetu, pamoja tushereke, sote ni washindi, tuko pamoja maishani, tuinuane, tuko pamoja maishani, tuinuane.
Well, good afternoon. I trust it's afternoon to all the audiences and the global community. My name is George Njuguna. I'm the Director of IT at Safaricom PLC. Very pleased to have an opportunity to just talk a bit about who we are, what we're doing, and just be part of this great conference. So I know you've heard a bit about our story, but we started in the year 2000, and we've been doing a lot to transform lives and communities across Kenya and more recently into Ethiopia. We enjoy about a 65% market share in our GSM business and about 98% plus in our mobile money business M-Pesa. I think during that period, we've grown our agent network to 262,000. These are places where people can cash in and cash out. Putting this a bit in context, the entire banking network in the US is about 65,000 branches. But we have just in our country that is the size of one state, 262,000 agents. And this has helped to really deepen and increase financial inclusion, which at the time of launching M-Pesa in 2007, 2008, the financial inclusion in Kenya was at about 20% or less. But now we talk about 85% plus, with at least almost the entire adult population being able to conduct financial transactions on their mobile phones. We continue to connect the country with about 98%, 97% on 3G, 4G, and from last year also moving into the 5G space. In terms of our purpose, we believe is transforming lives, and we want to be a purpose-led technology company by 2025. And we have a brand promise of being simple, transparent, and honest. The impact we have, I think we sustain about 1.1 million jobs in our country with a market cap of about 9 billion. But also that has been affected by the currency challenges we've seen because of the US dollar and the war happening in Ukraine. But also huge value in terms of the contribution to GDP in our country. And each single day on our mobile money platform, we transact about 80 million transactions. That is a lot more than many big players, including PayPal. And that's at a global level for them. So that just shows how much of an impact we do have in our country and in the region. Also looking at key things around our vision is we do want to strengthen our core, but also looking at winning in select digital ecosystems. And our new mission going into this financial year is to scale tech solutions in order to be a purpose-led technology company by 2025. So in terms of transformation, I think that's the core of the topic I'll be discussing. Some key pillars that we've been looking at. Number one is, moving to agile, and we've moved to agile at scale with about 600 engineers who are working in the business, building solutions. We're also building a capability of in-house experts, and I'll talk about it, especially in technology. We realize that becoming a technology company also requires us to look at the skill sets that we have and see how that needs to change and transform. We also need to work a lot more in terms of our automation and digitization, and then evolving M-Pesa to a two-sided platforms where businesses and consumers can meet and do their own trades on our platform, not necessarily just consume our products. And then we want to be recognized as the #1 brand for technology solutions. So that's for government as well as enterprise, but also looking at big data analytics and customer value management, seeing how we can offer our customers more value and give growth to them in terms of their businesses, in terms of their households, in terms of communities. So one of the things we've been talking as an IT team is when we started our mission, I think it was looking at establishing a strong technology foundation that's, the keywords were always on, always secure. Then we moved into getting agile embedded. But this coming year, in line with the overall mission of the CEO of scaling tech solutions, as the IT team, we believe our calling is to scale platforms. So we are talking, our mission is to build open, scalable and sellable platforms in order to deliver agile, cost-leading customer solutions. This, we believe, then helps and drives us to become a technology company. So what does this look like? I think we start reflecting on what do tech companies do? And many of you being in the telco space, you hear all these transformations and conversations coming up about being a tech company. But the challenge you see many times in it is how do you actually do it? What is that pivot that's required? And we asked ourselves as an IT team, what do tech companies do that's different than what a telco would be doing? And one of the things we picked is that tech companies build platforms. That once they build platforms, they're open, they're scalable, but also we need to make sure that they're sellable as well. And one of the strong points about them is they come up with platforms that both businesses as well as consumers can be able to directly consume products as well as build products upon. So we said that our mission then needs to be anchored on building. So through a lot of in-house development, but also what we're calling technology as a service, we can put the frameworks, the templates to make sure that these are reusable and we have a faster development time. So that means like if somebody wants a cloud environment, they can go right onto there and be able to pick a capability that they can be able to scale and be able to move without a lot of challenges. It becomes a situation where because we are trusted in many different ways by our customers, we're able to connect and understand what are the challenges that they're facing also in digital transformation, and being able to give them a lot of localized solutions, but also connect with global organizations and be able to contextualize and deliver the same. So building is key, and some of it may be building in-house, some of it may be building with partnerships, but for a fact, we believe that tech companies do build. We're challenged when we look at the journey of, let's say, a famous online book company that's now huge in terms of cloud. I think that's also, you need to take your strengths and what you know and what you've learned and some of the challenges you faced in your own technology stack, and see how by you solving the problems for your own business, you can also be able to solve the problem for other businesses that are going through the same. The second is being open. How do we create solutions that we were building them for our consumer business, our enterprise business, our fintech business, but how do we build them that other telcos or techcos or other customers can be able to take those platforms? So we talk about being multi-tenant, how we can build once and then host it in a way that it can be broken apart. We look at how do we modernize our core platforms, our BSS and OSS stacks, to be able to support this. And even our telco stack. I think one of the conversations we're looking at there is if a new telco wanted to enter into our market, is our platform in a position that they can come and just be able to ride on top of our whole telco capability that has been built and scaled and grown over many years. So that becomes a core part of saying how are we open in how we deliver platforms. Then scalable is important. How do we leverage on partnerships to scale, but also how can it be automated and self-service? How do we do a lot of white label capabilities like apps and other capabilities that we're able to just build once and very easily. Somebody can take it, customize it. You look at it more from a configuration layer. And then sellable is perhaps the biggest transformation we're trying to make. How do we get the whole pre-sales capability of tech solutions and then versus telco? And then how do we look at some of the capabilities we already have and commercialize them? So that's kind of the big pivot that we're making as an IT team for our business. And we've called it Mission Boss. It's a total coincidence that the first 3 words of the mission, but the team and I looked at it and we got quite excited and decided to stick with that. So what's the challenge when we talk about building versus buying? We know that engineers like to solve problems, and I often say if there are no problems handily available, they create their own problems. But another thing is we're really driven by customer obsession on how can we have tailored experience for our customers and how do we improve our time to market. The other consideration becomes business value. Many of the times IT and tech teams are seen as cost centers, but how can we, out of our lessons, out of the investments already made, how can we deliver more value through building platforms that can offer customer solutions and bring some new revenue streams? The other piece is just looking at the whole talent and enablement, how the developer skills need to be democratized, how we can leverage open source, but also cloud as a key deployment platform to do this scale. So some of the things we ask ourselves is about the IP that's important. How do we position the organization by achieving this as a top brand for software engineers? But also how do we go into more collaboration instead of competition with partners, but also ensuring that the team is empowered. That's the culture. And understanding the risks we'll face by doing this. Certainly if developers are building solutions, they're gonna be a big target for other organizations, but also is the organization willing to support, especially on the operating model transformation, to sell and support ICT solutions externally. So what I've been describing in terms of where we're going is what we call a B2B2X mindset. So how do you build solutions with it being sellable? So assuming we have a squad, one of our agile squads that's building a capability for consumer, like maybe an open data platform or a data sharing platform, how do they build it in a way that somebody else can take it and reuse it? We have a loyalty program we call Bonga Points. Bonga in Swahili is speak. Many customers are saying, we like your loyalty program. Can we utilize it also in our space? And through our loyalty program, Bonga, you can go to supermarkets, another place, you can buy devices, you can buy your shopping. How can we make it into a platform that other people, they can probably change the name, but they're using the same capability? How do we build solutions that are ready for any Techco? The leveraging of partnerships, looking at open source to minimize third-party licenses, so we're able to give value and focus more on services that we can offer than technology licenses. And then as a business, transforming our mindset to build solutions that are beyond connectivity and technology. And then in essence, offering what we call SaaS and PaaS as new revenue generators for our business. But then we also need to be constantly advancing our skills and building our expertise in key digital domains. These are a number of solutions that we've built in-house that are now being offered to customers. We've built our chatbot. We've built a digital hub that sells enterprise propositions. We have our app that's the #1 app and most used in our market, and also our marketplace for selling consumer products. We've gone to the step of building something similar to Salesforce we call Falcon, that enables our business teams to do the lead to order, order to cash, and cash to care. This was our first venture into BSS type of capabilities. Our subscriber registration, our device financing, and also looking at even our touchpoint NPS capability, digital queues that are used at our shops. All these were solutions that previously we were getting from other customers. But this is something that now we are not just selling to our enterprise customers, but also to other organizations in our group, in the Vodacom group, as well as our new Ethiopia investment. And then last but not least, also to government and other entities. One of the more important things as we embarked on this journey is, as the leader of the team, was talking to them about a spirit and having a common culture. Culture is perhaps what ends up killing a lot of these type of initiatives, because people have always done things a certain way, and then all of a sudden you're asking them to do something totally different that's been done by other organizations. One of the things I'd say is, and I told the team, I said this poem by John Shedd when I was laying this out a couple years ago, is that a ship is safe in the harbor, but that is not what ships are built for. I think many times you can play it easy and take it easy and say you just want some nominal growth. You want a logical sometimes solution to growth. But we said we need to do something bold. And we use a lot of statements like safe seas don't make skilled sailors. And so we came up with the ship as our symbol. And you'll see it on our mugs, on our laptops, and a number of key things that we have in that space. So we have about 4 pillars on our culture, our language. We have our symbol, that's a ship that I just showed. We have rituals and stories. And what's been important is to just ensure that this is an exciting journey. And so many of the, people within our organization, we need to carry not just the IT team, but the entire company into this. Our culture in action, there's a lot of things you'll see us doing in terms of hackathons, innovation hub. By saying that we're the home of engineering talent in Kenya, we launched Decode, our annual software engineering summit last year with 500 people. We've been able to grow it to 5,000 and looking to scale it this year to 10,000. That's just part of also changing our label and perception from being a telco to a technology company, and seeing that these are some of the core things that that the tech companies do. Making sure that skilling is important and people are responsible for their craft, having structured mentorships between senior and junior developers, having training platforms that people can learn at any time, and then having certain ceremonies on tech mastery and social engagements that help the team to do things, even addressing social challenges, and also as a leader, just being part and parcel of those activities. So in a nutshell, that's our story. I think I've seen probably a couple questions that have arisen. Happy to take a few of those. I'll just get this back up on the screen. I think one of the questions I'm seeing is on.
Yeah, hello, George. So one of the questions, the first one isn't to do with this session actually, but the second one from Andreas is, and he's asking you if you think this transition has more or fewer challenges in Kenya compared to Europe, and what are they? That's a very big, very open question, and I guess which part of Europe might be something as well.
Yes, thanks for that. So it's interesting when I think primarily in Europe, I engage a lot with Vodacom, but also very excited about what I'm seeing around like Telefonica, as well as some of the telcos in Turkey. One of the things we're seeing is, of course, the fintech piece. You can see it in most of Europe. and quite a strong handshake between the telcos and fintechs. And we've seen a lot of them coming here to learn, because we probably run one of the most successful fintechs across the country, and it was telco-led, not bank-led or startup-led. So there's a lot of synergies we're seeing there. The second piece is telcos are sometimes looking to break apart some of their assets they had, like towers, and we're seeing towercos being formed as they focus more on building solutions. I believe on the enterprise side, even if you look at Deutsche Telekom and what they're doing on enterprise, you see a lot of spin-offs thing for Telefonica, for building your own solutions to becoming full IT companies offering IT solutions and IT services. So I'd say there's a lot of correlation, especially with Europe, if I may say, but the challenges, I think, are still the same. Many times the leadership in the organizations are the traditional telco. They're scared. They know how to sell fixed and voice and data, but they don't know how they're going to sell cloud. And even if you stretch it further from an infrastructure, how are you going to sell, and what's the investment and the change sometimes in the operating model and even in your organization from a board level to senior leadership to the teams, in order to have a team that can essentially move into the IT space. But I see it as a normal trajectory that one takes, because the margins on the telco side are continuing to shrink. But by playing on the platform space and offering more of what we call IT or ICT solutions, you're able to not just plug that gap, but have a lot better margin in what you're offering your customers.
Okay, I'm really interested as well, talking about innovation and scale and the move to softwareization, and the way you've scaled up your hackathons and the employee engagement seems to be quite amazing. What do you think the success of that engagement, and what do you think drove that success and is driving it? Why do so many people want to join in?
Yeah, I think first I say everything rises and falls with leadership, and you as a leader, you need to be part of it, and you need to sell a compelling vision. I think for me, it's getting the team together. We built a lot of this, a lot of young people in my team. I think probably 80% plus are probably below the age of 25. And so looking at what are the strengths that they're coming in and helping them to realize that they can reach their aspirations as part of this team. And sometimes offering them a peek into what the opportunity looks like long-term. And then seeing how they can become ambassadors. Like I was looking at our university program. In the last 6 months, we've engaged 3,250 university students. And I can tell you, I've only been in one of those. The team has done the rest. And I give them a platform where they can tell their story. They talk about how they're developing a new app, what they've learned in terms of DevOps and automating some skill sets. And so I felt that that has been a very, very strong piece in it, but also putting innovation front and center in the transformation of the organization. So saying the what, we want to be a technology company, but leaving the teams on the how, and seeing how you can create a platform where both internal teams and external teams can be part of building these solutions, and then holding their hand with real investment to be able to take it to market, and complementing them with maybe commercial skills, go-to-market skills, that they actually stand a chance at seeing their idea become a reality.
Okay, that seems to me a crucial thing, actually, the pairing of the technical and commercial. And actually, I think it was in the Telco to Techco discussion, the panel we had earlier, that the whole idea about commercialization being as important as the technology came up, because if you don't make any money out of it, no matter how brilliant it is, it doesn't really work. How widely deployed within Safaricom is a DevOps methodology? I mean, are you still in the process of moving to that completely, or are you quite a long way down the line? A lot of big telcos are still, they talk a lot, but they're still in relatively early days, because it's It's a big change. I think you're on mute, George. Sorry.
Sorry,
you.
thank you.
Sorry.
So we are quite advanced in that space. I think we have over 60 squads, and they all operate on DevOps. Almost all our testing is including security testing, is fully automated. Our development is as well. I think all the way from where the user stories and the work is set up in Jira, all the way to it being translated to environments, to testing, deployment. We're doing even what we call canary deployments, where you have blue, green, and will deploy in a certain environment for a certain subset of users, get their feedback, then scale it. We've moved to the level, our mobile money platform, we used to have about 10 hours downtime when doing upgrades. Now it's down to 10 minutes, sometimes 10 seconds. And so I think the embracing of Agile and DevOps has perhaps been one of the biggest process and people transformations that has helped us move at this scale. Our government launched a social, I'd say a mobile loan government-driven product, and we delivered it in 5 weeks through DevOps. And it scaled within 3 months to about 18 million customers with about $200 million.
Did you say 18 million? 18?
18 million customers from zero in less than 3 months, with about $200 million already lent out, and about 67% plus already repaid. And so all that was done in 5 weeks and continues to evolve because of what we can do with DevOps and Agile.
Well, I was going to ask you what a difference automating all your testing had made, but I think that sounds boring after what you just said about the speed of deploying that government scheme.
Yeah, no, it is. I think testing is one thing that's what used to affect our M-Pesa platform upgrades, because we'd spend hours and hours on testing and regression. But by automating that and making a number of changes on how we deploy and move from test to production, we've been able to deliver something that we thought was unthinkable in terms of major platform upgrades, version changes. Even on such a platform, on majority of them, you don't even tell that we've had any change. So I think for me, that becomes a very important part of our success.
George, I've got to stop you there because we're out of time, but that's my favorite quotation of the morning so far, that we were able to deliver something we thought was impossible or unthinkable, sorry. So that's a nice thought to hold. So thank you very much indeed. It's very thought-provoking stuff, actually, and how much can be transferred elsewhere is very interesting.
Thank you so much. And I think for the audience, I appreciate being able to speak to a European audience. And I can tell you, you're more than welcome to Nairobi, Kenya, the home of innovation and digital talent. Thank you.